Hello, I'm Paige Hodsman. I am the concept developer for offices in the UK, and I am at EIAS2023, and I have with me Jack Harvie Clark from Apex Acoustics, and we are talking about the acoustic quality of open plan spaces and the importance of worker satisfaction. So Jack, thank you for being here. This has been, and your presentation was fantastic, by the way, as usual. So you talk about the learning how to use the office itself as a tool. And can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yes, I think it's useful to think about, conceive of the office as a tool for the organisation to essentially meet its business aims. And in that, every office is bespoke. So we have a bespoke tool. So people need to learn how to use that. It's not intuitive. And the designer kind of hands it over and says, there you go, people. You work out what to do. And so people work out what to do. But that often introduces acoustic conflicts between people who maybe want to produce more noise and people who are more sensitive to noise. So I think we can always improve the acoustic satisfaction for the people by finding out what's going on and helping people find solutions themselves to those conflicts. So this isn't doing things to people, that's helping them to find the solutions for them.
For themselves, yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's really good. And can I also ask you about your views on the importance of obtaining post-occupancy satisfaction data? Going back after the fact. So say you've implemented a traditional acoustic solution. Could you just share with us your views on the importance of that after the installation?
Well, it's always gold dust, isn't it, for all designers, is to find out how well did it work. And ultimately, if we're designing for acoustic satisfaction, then we need to ask people how satisfied they are with the acoustics and what the issues are.
And
so that's.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, if say you might be maybe a bit worried, say as a consultant, you might be a little bit worried about what the outcome might be. Do you have any advice on how do you just sort of set those fears aside and take a different view? Absolutely.
I think if we've explained all the factors that could influence acoustic satisfaction in the design process, we have nothing to be afraid of as designers. We've set all those things out, all the types, if we can, and that's where this work needs to go, to document all the factors in the round that can explain acoustic satisfaction and those outcomes. And then it's up to the client about whether they really want to look for acoustic satisfaction for the occupants of the office, or if they're more concerned with prioritising it look a certain way, or people behaving a certain way, because different companies have aspirations for their offices. Not everybody wants the comfort of the occupants to be the prime outcome. And so that's fine, that's their choice.
Sure.
We can't stop them doing that.
And you would know that up front, that would become apparent relatively quickly, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yes, because they will be reluctant to have us engage with people very much to find out what's going on. They definitely won't want any post-occupancy evaluation because they will be judging success by how they think it looks, not by the experience of the people using the office.
Okay, wow.
So,
right to the heart of things. Yeah, definitely. And so I wanted to ask you about because with your presentation, we're basically, and you said this, we're changing the narrative. And this is quite a profound, or will have quite a profound effect on acoustic consultants and the way, I think the way that they maybe approach the entire consulting, I guess the consulting approach, I guess. So right now we develop standards. I mean, we're just now talking about, or just relatively recently, shifting from acoustic standards where we're measuring unoccupied rooms to now occupied rooms. And now you're saying, well, that's only a small piece of the puzzle. And then we also have kind of disagreement on which parameters. So there's still lots of discussion around, well, which parameters should we use in offices and all these sorts of things. So from a traditional acoustic perspective, there's still a lot of debate. And now there's this introduction of, well, we actually have a whole lot of other things we should be considering here. So how do you pull all this together?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the research has shown that the best room acoustic indicators that we have, so the best, most sophisticated things that we can measure in the room are significant for the outcome of people who are highly disturbed by noise. But that's where there's a lot of scatter in the data. So we do need good room acoustics, but ultimately I think we need the room not to obstruct the acoustic conditions in the room. So if the room acoustics are too bad, then however much you focus on the non-acoustic factors, I think you're going to struggle for people's acoustic satisfaction. But I think we don't necessarily need to achieve some of the very aspirational targets for room acoustic indicators, as I showed in my case studies, to get very high levels of acoustic satisfaction. So I think the room is, as I've said before, necessary but not sufficient. What was the first? You're putting it all together. So the room acoustic factors and the so I think we should focus on the actual outcome that we're interested in, which is people's satisfaction with the acoustics. So ultimately, we need to measure the people. We need to ask people how they feel about it, and can they get the acoustic conditions they need to do what they need, because that's the ultimate measure of the purpose of the office.
And with that added dimension, it also brings in new areas of expertise. So with that, what does this mean? What does this mean for students of acoustics and moving forward, and how maybe the academic aspect might change slightly?
I'm sure it will, because this is, I mean, what I'm suggesting here really is taking a soundscape approach to design. And there's an awful lot of academic interest in soundscape as a subject. And as I mentioned in my presentation, a lot of the work around non-acoustic factors is going on for aviation noise, because there's a lot of known value and problems from aviation noise. But noise in offices is really, I mean, I don't know how it compares with aviation noise in terms of scale of adverse impact, but it is a huge problem because so many people work in open plan offices and are adversely affected by noise there. And it's a significant reason that people don't want to go back to offices now. Now they've had the home working experience, they've had that level of control over their environment, but there are benefits to us all working together in offices, and companies won't be able to realise those benefits unless they can encourage people to come back. And so part of encouraging them to come back is making sure that when they come into the office, they can get the acoustic conditions they need.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Okay, thank you very much.